Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you've had a good break, and thank you all for coming to join us for this next session. We're going to be changing topic a little, going from legislation and litigation to education, and it's my pleasure to get us started with talking about the CATA-Earth project, and I'm joined here by a team of fellow researchers and teachers from the Netherlands, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. And we're going to be hearing from everyone in turn over the next hour and a half or so, as I take you through, or as we take you through this new educational project. Just to very quickly introduce everyone that's with us on the call. My name is George. I'm a medical doctor, originally from New Zealand, but now I live and work in the Netherlands at the UMC Utrecht, where I help to lead the Exposome and Planetary Health research team, and here I'm helping to coordinate the CATA-Earth project. Today in the call during the session, I'm also joined by Diantha Samantri, the Vice Director of Medical Education at Universitas Indonesia, Indamuni, a pediatrician and lecturer from the Universitas Gadjah Mada, Nasim Udin, the Director of the Center for Climate Change and Environmental Health at the Asian University for Women, Muhammad Mohani Zaman, a lecturer of the from the Department of Environmental Science and Hazard Studies at Noakhali Science and Technology University, and Ale Lamas, the project coordinator for the CATA-Earth project. So, hi everyone, great to have everyone here. Also, very quickly like to shout out to a couple of team members who can't join us today, especially the Elevate Health team from the Netherlands and the Open University of Catalan team from Spain. So we're a big team, broad team from a lot of different places. And with those introductions, I'd like to take you through the CATA-Earth project. The way it's going to work this afternoon, depending where you are, is that we'll all very briefly just, I will take us through the CATA-Earth project. I'll introduce the project, and then I will pass it over to each of our partners from Indonesia and Bangladesh in turn, so that they can describe some of their contributions and what they do. And then we'll open things up for a bit of a Q&A. So I think I need to ask people backstage, can we go next slide, please? Okay, so I won't belabor this point too much. It's very clear. I think there's no major debate anymore, right? That our climate is changing, our global situation is changing. And if we go to the next slide, we said that our environmental challenges are not just climate change. Human activities produce a lot of environmental pollution, a lot of degradation, such as plastic waste, or on the next slide, air pollution, which of course is linked to climate change. Next slide. And the more we look at the way human activities interact with our environment, we see that more and more our actions and our consumption, our production, are continuing to transgress the safe operating boundaries for a sustainable future to our planet. But we also see on the next slide that the dissemination, the way that those activities occur around the world, as in those that contribute to a lot of the environmental degradation, are not the same as those who receive the worst of the consequences. What we see again and again is that a lot of the higher income countries are the major contributors to environmental degradation, whereas many of the low middle income countries around the world will be largely bearing the brunt of those consequences. And then on the next slide, we can also highlight that it's not just people that are affected by this challenge. We also have a profound challenge also in terms of biodiversity and animal loss overall. So as I highlight very briefly on the next slide, What we have here is a very, very complicated issue with a lot of different working parts. And the concept on the next slide that we use to describe these topics, these challenges, or the new concept we've been using, is that of planetary health, where essentially we're having a solutions-oriented discipline to try and analyze and address the wider impacts of human activities on the planet, and then how those activities go on to impact human health, but also all life on Earth. So what we came to the CATA-Earth project with is described very easily on the next slide. If we increase our knowledge and our skills in planetary health, then as a global community, we can help to navigate this crisis. But on the next slide, we see another challenge coming. When we look at what we already are doing with regards to planetary health education, we're seeing a very similar pattern to what we saw in terms of who's polluting the most versus who's receiving the most harm. Most of what we're offering globally in planetary health education is coming from richer, high-income countries such as North America and Western Europe. So on the next slide, we really see our big challenge here, that the planetary health crisis is really going to disproportionately impact low middle income communities. And these are communities whose voices are very often unheard in this discussion. And so therefore, there's a real gap in the availability of relevant education and skills to adapt this crisis. And so on the next slide, we introduce the CATA-Earth project. In the CATA-Earth project, we aim to develop planetary health education in climate vulnerable regions with a very strong community engagement. And as I introduced at the start, we're operating this project with partners in the Netherlands, Spain, Indonesia, and Bangladesh. Our objectives are on the next slide, where we want to build capacity for designing and developing community-driven planetary health education through a co-design, co-develop, and co-deliver approach to ultimately produce the next generation of skilled workers, academics, and young people with actionable knowledge and skills for planetary health. Our current partners are listed on the next slide. I won't go through these names again because I've already listed everyone at the start, but we are indeed a diverse set of people from around the world come together to work on this project. The project structure itself is very briefly described on our next slide, where we're working across 6 work packages to design, develop, deliver, and then reiterate planetary health education across our partner states. Project outputs is described on our next slide. There are 3 main outputs that we want to produce as a result of this project. We want to have a core planetary health education framework and toolkit. We'd like to develop bespoke, so specifically designed and accredited planetary health courses at each Asian partner. And we'd also like to develop a large, massive online open course so that our learnings and our shared experiences can also be made available for the wider international community. The project is operating on a series of guiding principles, which are on the next slide. We work very strongly with a bidirectional collaboration between European and Asian partners, where shared responsibilities for all tasks and work packages are carried out. And by that I mean that all tasks, all work packages are co-led by at least 1 Asian and 1 European partner, so that we have absolute shared responsibility across the project. We are also committed to a partner-led project, and as part of that, each of our Asian partners is developing community partnerships to help be involved in the development of education and the delivering of that education. And then our final guiding principle here is this, what we're calling the 3C principle, where as a group and as a team, we want to realistically and effectively co-develop, co-design, and co-deliver our teaching materials. So on the next slide, I'm just going to start very quickly taking through the main work packages that we're doing. I'm not going to go through this in incredible detail. We don't have time for that. But very, very briefly, our first work package, our first major task where we've been working for the last 6 to 9 months since the project's inception has been the development of a Planetary Health Education framework and toolkit, where we're really trying to understand the current state of planetary health education and leverage that current state to design our way forward. On the next slide, we start talking about the course development and course deployment stage, where we take what we've learned from our first work package, looking at the current international landscape, and use that to start designing bespoke educational material in collaboration with our international partners and our local communities. After that material is developed, we'll of course accredit it and then develop it and iterate it for future developments. On our next slide, we have an important component of the project as well, and that is to also train trainers. We need adequately trained teaching staff to give this material. So concurrently with the development of the educational material itself, we're also going to be working with our partners to produce the next generation of planetary health teachers so that all of this material can be delivered and shared in a sustainable way beyond the life of the current project. On the next slide, we describe some of our wider goals for the future sustainability and accessibility of our project, where we want to develop a knowledge repository, where we can create and curate an online repository of planetary health educational materials that can be shared with our partners here, but can also be made available for the international community. On the next slide, we explore a bit more of our sort of managerial approach to the project, where our project management team works to ensure the successful management of the project. And then finally, on the next slide, we work on our dissemination activities, where we actively want to promote, disseminate our findings, learnings, and experiences with the wider community. We've had a few successes already in the process in the life of this project. As I said, we've been running 6 to 9 months, so we're still somewhat in the early days. But on the next slide, you can see one of our early project milestones, and that is the project logo that you've been seeing at the bottom left of all of these slides here. So instead of going the more traditional route of just hiring, say, a graphic design artist, or in some cases we do nowadays getting AI to design a project logo, instead our partners at NSTU and UI went to the student body and organized and ran out a logo design competition. Some of the highlighted entries are here also on the slide here. And then as a whole consortium, we voted on the final winner. And then we can see a blown up version of that winner on the next slide. And congratulations to the winner. So now this is our official project logo, designed by members of our partner communities, voted on by members of our consortium, and then this will now be used to display and sort of lead our project going forward. Now, the good milestone from the project is on the next slide, which is our project website. This is CATA-Earth.com. The website is up and running, and here we will be making available all of our publicly shared resources, our learnings, our publications, and the rest. As we look at where we want to go forward on the next slide, we are now in the process of sort of identifying where we want planetary health education to go next. We've identified a lot in terms of the international landscape for planetary health education. We've seen, as I showed earlier already in this talk, that a lot of what's currently offered is very high income country focused. So now we're very much in the stage of refining materials for our own use and incubating that knowledge along with our international partners to really develop and grow our wider educational materials. So as we look forward on our next slide, Our content creation is something that is actively ongoing as a team here. And for the next 9 to 12 months, we're really going to be focusing on course content and teacher training. So on our next slide, we have some major takeaway points, just to sort of reiterate what we've talked about in the last 10 minutes or so. The planetary health crisis is really impacting the most vulnerable, despite those people contributing relatively less to that crisis. One of the key gaps we're facing to addressing that crisis is education, especially within those vulnerable regions that are being disproportionately affected. And so the CATA-Earth project aims to provide those people living in some of these especially vulnerable regions the specific skills and expertise needed to create a resilient future. And with that, I will start passing over to the rest of the team. On the next slide, it just says thank you. We have all of our members. And I believe I will pass us over to our next speaker, Diantha Samantli from University of Asia, to showcase what is available there and take us through their offerings. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And thank you very much, Diantha.
Thank you very much, George. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. I'm Diantha Sumantri from Universitas Indonesia, and it is a great honor for me to be here to present our university. A slide, please. So we are very much grateful that we can join the project. We can participate actively in the consortium. And then, of course, it is very much in line with our university logo, where we always want to learn and always want to contribute to the advancement of knowledge, and then always try to adapt to the current situation. And we know that climate change is now quite a main problem in our society. So the university is also committed to planetary health and climate change. Slide. So Universitas Indonesia is fully committed to sustainable development goals. And as you know, one of the goals in the SDGs is climate action. And there are already measures in place to try to reduce the impact of climate change, to establish a more carbon neutral policy, to measure the amount of carbon energy used around the universities. So trying to make the campus a more greener and more environmental friendly campus. So that's always also been a part of our university's action as our commitment to sustainable development goals. Slide. Universitas Indonesia, in particular, has a health science cluster. So all health sciences faculties, from medical faculty, nursing faculty, dentistry, public health, and pharmacy, we all under the same cluster, which is a health science cluster. And then we conduct multidisciplinary research and innovations. So our involvement in the CATA-Earth project is really a highlight of our future collaboration, one of the future collaborations that we can do in the health sciences clusters. So we have involved representatives from all health science clusters, from all the 5 faculties in our activities in relation to the CATA-Earth project. For example, during the official launch, which I will introduce later, and also for the co-creation of the learning competencies of planetary health. We invite everyone, member of the staff, and also students from all 5 faculties and health science clusters. So hopefully in the future, when we have produced the competencies and also the module, the MOOC, and all of the learning activities that we have created under the CATA-Earth project, we will be able to apply, implement those modules and courses to all 5 schools in health science clusters in Indonesia. In particular, slide please. In particular, I would like to highlight our Faculty of Medicine. So the core coordinator or the project lead for the CATA-Earth project from Universitas Indonesia is coming from the Faculty of Medicine. And under the Faculty of Medicine, we have Indonesian Medical Education and Research Institute, and we also have a Center for Clinical Epidemiology and Evidence-Based Medicine. So basically, these 2 units are the main units that are involved in the CATA-Earth project. And especially for the IMERI, the Indonesian Medical Education and Research Institute, there are 3 clusters that are involved in this CATA-Earth project. First is the Medical Education Center, which will heavily involve in creation of the instructional design and the creation or determination of the core competencies of planetary health. And we have a Center for E-Learning cluster, which will be responsible for the development of MOOC and other online courses, which will be produced along the way of throughout the CATA-Earth project. And lastly, we have Occupational Environmental Health Research Center. So in particular, the Occupational and Environmental Health Research Center has been very active in doing some research also related to climate change. So their expertise in climate change, their networks with other communities outside of the Universitas Indonesia is very, very helpful for the project so that we can move the project forward. Slide, please. In specifically, I would like to introduce our community. So as George has mentioned, each university will have to have one community partner. So we have Kusuma Buana Foundation, or Yayasan Kusuma Buana, is a non-governmental organization which has been very active in the field of community development since 1980. So this foundation has quite a long history, and they're focusing particularly in increasing empowerment and the role of community in social development in general. So as a component of civil society, the foundation has also participated significantly in realizing a healthy, prosperous, and independent civil society. So they have various projects all in the areas of health and community empowerment. And it is very interesting and it's very exciting future that we can share with our community partner, the Yayasan Kusuma Buana, where we embark on a new field of climate change. And hopefully by having a community that is already very engaged with the society, we can increase the awareness of the society or the community about climate change and what are the impacts and how we can mitigate the risks of climate change, not only in the university level, but also from the society level and individual levels in each household. Slide, please. So yes, this is the official launch. So we had the consortium had a offline meeting in August, so it's just 1 month from today, at our campus in Salemba in Imeri. And then we have this official launch where we invited the key stakeholders, Director of Environmental Health from Ministry of Health, and we also invited representatives from Universitas Indonesia and from the Chancellor Office, and also from the deaneries from each of the school in health sciences, the medical, the dental school, nursing school, pharmacy, and public health schools. We invited the leaders, the top managements, and also the faculty members and students. And we have also other external stakeholders from the European Commission, from the Erasmus Plus National Focal Points Indonesia, and also the NUFIC Southeast Asian Director, and of course the Embassy of Netherlands, Spain, and Bangladesh, which are our partners in this consortium. And more importantly, we invited also the community partners, their project partners, and also the co-creation session participants. So we have, as you can see here, not only the Yayasan Kusuma Buana, but we have Pure Earth Indonesia, Pamarti Kalijode from Yogyakarta, Yayasan Keanekaragaman Hayati Indonesia, the CISDI Center for Indonesia's Strategic Development Initiatives, and also from the Association of Family Physicians in Indonesia. So hopefully by having this official launch, we can sort of establish the commitment of not only Universitas Indonesia, but all stakeholders that we want to do something about planetary health, in which, in this case, we want to create an education for planetary health competencies for all of our students from all disciplines. And then we close the official launch with a bit of signing the commitment board. So hopefully with this, we can always revisit this board signing so that we are reminded that we need to contribute something to mitigate the risks of climate change in the future. Thank you very much. I think that is my last slide. Thank you very much for your kind attention and looking forward to have a fruitful discussion with all of you after this. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. So next slide, please. So Universitas Gadjah Mada, or UGM, is actually in Yogyakarta, is the first national university that established by the independent Indonesia in 1949. So since its establishment, then UGM has consistently educated curious minds, not only in Indonesia, but also in the international community. And at this UGM, we strive to create an environment where the student can explore their creativity and innovation, supported by the modern infrastructure and technology. And as the leading research university, they also encourage both students and faculty to engage in impactful research that contributes to solving real-world problems. And our goal is actually simple: to remain a trusted educational institution that empowers future leaders while staying grounded in our local roots and expanding our global reach. Next slide, please. And we prioritize in Planetary Health, we prioritize the Planetary Health as a key mission, integrating sustainability with the public health through interdisciplinary research and education. And our flagship program, which is a community and family healthcare interprofessional education, encourage collaboration and equip students to tackle global challenges at the intersection of the human and environmental health, and reinforcing our commitment to a sustainable future. Currently, the UGM does not offer a degree in planetary health. However, there are a variety of courses on the climate change, planetary health, and One Health Collaborating Center that held by various departments at UGM. Next slide, please. UGM is committed to incorporating sustainability into all parts of the campus management in order to meet the university vision and mission of ensuring the future sustainability of our planet. And as a higher education institution, UGM plays a vital role as a change agent and pioneer in realizing sustainable planet through green governance, green economics, and also the use of green energy and materials. And according to Green Metric in World University Ranking in 2022, the UGM is one of the Indonesia's top 3 green and sustainability campuses with the University of Indonesia. Next slide. And our wish list on the planetary health is actually we would like to establish an infrastructure of the education development for the planetary health and environmental health in Indonesia, including the training of the teachers and students, and also prove the feasibility, acceptability, and local embedding of the education on the planetary health in UGM to strengthen the education and research capacity needs. And we would like to adapt and develop courses on this planetary health, strengthen the institutional research capacity in the university, as well as in the abroad networking. And we expand international networking and provide a platform for the collaboration between the academics, healthcare professional, public health officer, and local government to build the research capacity. And we would like to strengthen knowledge and skills with the UGM and partners to generate local evidence and professional expertise. Next slide, please. And therefore, we are happy and proud to take on several key responsibilities in this project, and this include developing a community-driven transformational planetary health education toolkit in collaboration with our local partner, and implementing, also evaluating planetary health curriculum, educating future educators, and managing knowledge dissemination. Through this work, we are making an impact on both our local communities and global sustainability effort. Next slide. And we have a partnership with the Pamerti Kalijode. Kalijode is actually the name of a river that flows through the city of Yogyakarta on the island located in near UGM. And this Kalijode has a social, political, cultural, and economical value and also challenges. And this Pamerti Kalijode is a community group along the banks of the Kalijode or river from north to south that unite together for creating conditions for Kalijode that are clean and green, that making the Kalijode a tourist area in city of Yogyakarta. And this community initiative in Yogyakarta is actually focused on the revitalization and also sustainable management of this river. And the program emphasized the community engagement, environmental awareness, cultural preservation. And this aimed to improve the quality of life of the resident living near the river, while also fostering a sense of the community through various activities, workshops, and also environmental projects. Next slide, please. And in this partnership with Kalijode, the UGM team visited the Kalijode community to identify their current health and also socio-economic concern. Next slide. And the personals from the Pamerti Kalijode also visited our institution of the UGM for a more in-depth briefing on health and socio-economic concern. Next slide. This Pamerti Kalijode is actually initiated in 2014 with the River School or Sekolah Sungai, which is a non-formal education program focused on vital environmental topics like river and watershed management. Through this partnership with government bodies and the university, including UGM, Pamerti Kalijode reaches participant from the elementary as well as the to the university levels. And the program combines theoretical concept with the hands-on field practice, drawing from the community's own experiences. And this practical community-based approach not only educate but also empower individuals to protect and manage their environmental and creating a more sustainable future for all. Next slide, please. And this Pamerti Kalijode is actually also offers a range of the ongoing courses designed to empower community members, especially students, to act as cadres of Jode and helping to protect and also manage their environment. And these courses covers diverse topics such as the ecological and regulatory aspect of the rivers, also disaster management in the riverbank area, and utilization of clean water. And participants also learn about the fisheries management, the role of Wolbachia, and also in dengue fever, in dengue control, and also the importance of the river flora and fauna. And by equipping participants into this knowledge, this community also ensures a sustainable community-driven approach to environmental stewardship. Next slide, please. But this Pamerti Kalijode also currently have health, environmental, and also socio-economic challenges. They would like to empower the economic of the community. Also, there are many problems of stunting and pulmonary diseases. Also, they have a low awareness of the domestic waste management. And also, there is any problem with the post-pandemic impact. For example, they have lost many of the senior community leaders that they tend to provide community education with the art and also cultural events as the media. And also the government budget previously that allocated for the community education also were directed to COVID-19 effort that leading to reduction in partner activities. Next slide, please. And therefore, perhaps for this project, there are potential course topic that would be developed. So first, perhaps about the domestic waste management, also about the community pandemic preparedness, online the marketing strategy, also the public health and also child health problem, as well as the environmental and health aspect of the living in the riverbank. So next slide, please. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Hi everyone, Good morning, good afternoon. So thank you all our members. So before introducing our Center for Climate Change and Environmental Health, I want to talk about Asian University for Women, which is the first regional university in Asia to build future women leaders in different fields, including environment, health, and politics and other fields. Next slide, please. So these are our team members who are working dedicatedly in different projects, including the our CATA-Earth project. Next slide, please. So our Center for Climate Change and Environmental Health, we established this center in April 2021, over 3 years ago. The idea was to lead in the Asian region and the Middle East to build the capacity of future women leaders in climate education, climate change adaptation, and the environmental health aspects. And we also had the idea to attract different talents from different countries in Asia and the Middle East, particularly in different vulnerable communities like refugees. We have in our university the second student population group coming from different countries like refugees from Afghan, Syrian, Lebanon, Myanmar, like Rohingya refugees, and tea estate garden workers, and Dalits, and many different vulnerable groups. So we actually bring them here, and then they study in different fields with more than 90% scholarship from different donors. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, I have so many slides that I will just quickly go through them. So these are some of the key ongoing projects, like the IDRC project, where what we are doing is like we conduct different research in health and climate change and many other environmental components, and we also empower. Currently, we have, in addition of those to those human resources, we have more than 20 voluntary research assistants who are actually working and supporting us voluntarily, and they are also working in different fields in different locations when we have different project activities in the field. And we also try to empower all researchers through different research activities, thesis works, and projects works, and build their capacity. And most of our courses are actually developed based on the local realistic cases, not only in Bangladesh, many parts of the world. So we have ongoing 3 projects. One, the current one, the CATA-Earth project that we are talking, and another one, K4DM. This is actually funded by International Development Research Center from Canada. And there's another project, Water Sanitation and Hygiene and Health, was 2 project by United Board. But we also conducted several other projects funded by different donor agencies. Next slide, please. So our center, what our center is doing currently, we have one main component is capacity building. As I mentioned, we build our student capacity and the alumni capacity in different forms, through training, through workshops, and also seminar on different thematic areas in health and environment. And we also provide them the career training. So what they will do after graduations, and when many of our graduates, they actually went to Oxford, Cambridge, and Harvard, and many other, including MIT, top universities, and also United Nations agencies and international organizations, and also different government agencies. And we also provide different sessions and also different monitoring activities in different locations, including the largest refugee camps we are hosting in Bangladesh. That's the Rohingya refugee. We have 1.3 million Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. They flew actually because of this ethnic cleansing from Myanmar. Next slide, please. So yeah, these are some of the activities, just sharing some of the photos in camps and classes and outdoor activities we provide for capacity building. Next slide. So this year we organized a symposium for knowledge dissemination funded by IDRC project, and that's actually completely dedicated for Rohingya refugee students. So if you see these students, when they're coming, they are actually lack of English knowledge and lack of communication, and but when they graduate, and their transformation is very, very dramatic. And we found, particularly this symposium, we invited Canadian High Commissioner, we invited many national, international, UN agencies, more than 100 participants, and they actually shared their own research outcomes on education, environment, and health, and including the different components of the planetary health. Next slide. Yeah, so we also do a lot of networking from the government agencies, different embassies. We recently had a donor, the Danish embassy. Actually, they provided us a fund of 1 million euro to expand our center's activities and different programs, including the human resources. We also collaborate with many other universities, including Cambridge and Oxford and University of Victoria from different countries. We also have some sort of training and capacity building activities in the Rohingya refugee camps in collaboration with different universities like Royal Oak University, University of Victoria, UNBC, and McGill universities. Next slide, please. These are some of the thematic area. I don't want to talk about this. These are thematic area of our center and plan. Of course, most of those components are actually under planetary health thematic area. Next, please. So these are some of the completed projects we got from UNHCR, Oxfam, Save the Children, and then also groundwater relief and University of West of England, University of Victoria. So all those projects actually related to climate, water security, household level, sanitation, waste, and health connection. And all those projects actually we had a component of capacity building and research, and also a policy recommendations for the government and other international donor agencies. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. We talked about that. Yeah, next. Yeah. Okay, so these are some of the activities we have done under our United Board for Christian Higher Education in Asia. So this organization is located in the US, and they've funded us for capacity building in the water sanitation and hygiene sector in different areas, including Rohingya refugee camps. And also, if you see the right photo, we have been conducting many campaigns across the different departments and the dorms in the universities, and also outside communities. Next slide, please. And the previous slide you have seen also, like Mr. Mizanur Rahman from he is the head and the commissioner of Rohingya refugee camp. He is actually joint secretary from the government, and he regularly actually come in our class and then support us and taught our student about the situation in the camps, in the emergency sector situation, how the water supply system and how they are actually tackling sanitation in the camps area and hygiene practices. We also shared our knowledge in different international conferences, like the one last year we shared international water conference in Bangladesh. Next, please. We also had a Save Water campaign outside campus in different communities like slum area in the port city in Chittagong. Okay, so yeah, next please. Next. Yeah, next. These are photographs of our Rohingya camps. Next, please. Next. Yeah, next. Yeah, next. So we recently visited our communities, is Kutubdia, and that Kutubdia is actually a very vulnerable to climate change and saltwater intrusion. It's an island actually. And then Kutubdia, next slide. So Kutubdia is vulnerable. The cropping system is vulnerable. The fishing system is vulnerable due to different kind of activities, human activities, and also climate activities. Next. Yeah, so we recently visited Kutubdia and we conducted many different focus group discussion. Our baseline piloting, we haven't done our baseline survey, but we have done a pilot and we talked with hundreds of students in the college in that location and then discussed about the planetary health and education. So they are quite happy to actually get involved in the project in future. Next, please. Yeah, these are some of the publications. Next. Yeah, next. 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 Yeah, next. Okay, so yeah, that's actually our center and our university is trying to build the capacity and build the capacity of the future women leaders from Asia and the Middle East. And our center is actually, this is our 3 years old center. We are trying to improve our capacity, and this CATA-Earth project is actually supporting us lots, and that will help us actually to develop a community-driven course and curriculum to build the capacity of the local community members, our student group, and also our faculty members. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. Good day to you all. I am Mohammad Mohinujjaman from Noakhali Science and Technology University, Bangladesh. Actually, I am now at Pamukkale University in Turkey due to my academic purpose. Next slide, please. Noakhali Science and Technology University is situated near the Bay of Bengal. It's around 175 kilometers away from the capital city of Bangladesh. And it was established in 2001, but its academic activities were started in June 2006. Since then, so far, 6 faculties are offering degrees and from 31 departments. And Department of Environmental Science and Disaster Management started its journey since 2012 under the Faculty of Science. And so far, it has 171 credits for undergraduate program, and for the master's program, it has 43 credits. And now 450 students now pursuing their undergraduate and graduate program. And more than 400 students already completed their graduation, and they are now successfully work and doing research at the national level and also in the abroad. And here I show some pictures. We have already conducted successfully an international seminar on climate change and sustainability. And regularly we conduct seminars, symposia, workshop on the relevant and recent research and topic. And we usually celebrate the national and international days and conducting some extracurricular activities, for example, tree plantation program, awareness program, etc. Next slide, please. And as a beneficiary of this project, we, our university selected a community is very near to the coast of the Bay of Bengal. So geographically, this area which very much vulnerable due to the climate change, and the people are living in that community. They are the climate refugee. They have already lost their original land and migrated here, and the area is also very much affected by the salinity intrusion problem. Every year, due to the tidal surge, cyclone, the soil and the surface water affected by the saline water. So the people have to take the saline water, and they are very much suffering from the scarcity of the fresh water. And the people are, due to the soil and water are affected by the salinity. The farmers, most of the people are there in farmers, and their agricultural productivity decreasing day by day due to the increasing of the soil salinity. So, and their socioeconomic condition is very low due to because their main earning source is the agriculture, and this agricultural production or harvesting affected by the natural disasters. And since last 20 years, the frequency of the natural disaster has increasing. And recently, I have showed some pictures. Recently, all the areas was underwater, 3 to 5 feet due to the heavy rainfall, the cyclone effect, and also the upstream water. So this land area is very much vulnerable to the livelihood, and also the health hazard due to intake of the saline water and other problems. For your information, due to the high salinity, the women usually take medicine to stop the menstruation because of the surface water salinity, and that ultimately affect their reproductive system. And so to work with this community, we selected a community partner, that is the Center for People and Environment, CPE. And they're very much experienced to work with the community since last 5 years and completed some project very successfully. And they actually work on climate resilient development, climate displacement solution, environmental management, and data science. Here I show some pictures of the agreement with the community partner, and already we did some training with the community partner and our team members. Next slide, please. As the beneficiary and the co-lead of some work packages, NSQ already performed, developed a very good, well-organized website, and that is already George mentioned, www.cata-earth.com. And we also developed some social media platform, that is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also developed a Google platform, Drive platform. And for example, we regularly updated our website and the social media, updated our latest news. For example, our winner conference, we already shared this information in our website and in our social media to spread the information all over the world and the relevant community. And we have already visited our community area several times, and we are now conducting a baseline survey to actually find out their problems and and train up the community for beta vulnerabilities, baseline survey and data collection, and case story collection. Next slide, please. And we are very much interested in CATA-Earth project. There is some reasons behind this, because we want to strengthen the local capacity for health and climate resilience. And usually all the projects are top-down approach, but our CATA-Earth project is very much community-centric approach, community-based solution we want to do. And the cultural and indigenous knowledge integration, another purpose, and interdisciplinary education and global policy, that is advocating for curriculum integration, and empowering our vulnerable groups, community resilience and vulnerability, focusing on marginalized communities, and participatory learning models and climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies. So we are the NSTU, we are very much interested in planetary health uh, project to to incorporate our community problems and how we can solve this problem. In this case, we also adapt some local-led adaptation strategies from the other areas. Those are facing these problems. So from this project, our students will be, and our teachers, our colleagues, our teammates will be able to do a better solution for our community, and will build up a sustainable uh, planet. That's all from our me. Thank you very much.
Hi, thanks, Mohammed, and thank you everyone for the presenting their work and their faculties. We have a few minutes for a Q&A between the group, and I see already a comment from Mohammed in the chat regarding the involvement of students and community empowering local communities. I'm also going to hijack that question slightly, to ask the group, not just involvement of students in the communities, but the role of equitable partnerships overall. How do you see equitable partnerships working in successful transdisciplinary approaches, and how do we need those partnerships to adequately address the planetary health crisis? Since this question was directed to Inda, can I start communication with you, Inda?
Oh, sorry. So I need to. I'm sorry. I need to answer this question.
Or
Of
is,
the or I need to answer you first. Sorry.
how do you? Well, we can talk, I think we just take this opportunity to talk about the role of equitable partnerships with communities and students.
Yes, sure. Okay, then we think that the equitable partnership actually should involve several key elements. First, all partners must have a common understanding of the objective and also desired outcome. So it is can ensure the alignment in effort, as well as we need to build relationship based on respect for each partner's expertise, values, and also contribution. That also we need to ensure diverse stakeholders. We need to involve the scientists, policymakers, as well as the community members, and also perhaps the engaging all partners in the research and also problem solving when we have that one. And also we need to have a fair allocation of the resources, including the manpower, funding. That also we need to ensure that all partners also can contribute equally and effectively. And also perhaps some regular and also open dialogue is also important, I think, for this kind of partnership. And perhaps the capacity building as well, it is also very important because investing in training and also skills development for all partners also promote sustainability and empowers the community, as well as the flexibility and adaptability. I think perhaps that it is very important.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I think if I ask Nazim, would you be able to reflect on this? Because you've also had a lot to say about equitable partnerships. And just to also mention to the audience, if you have questions, please feel free to put them into the chat.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I think we already talked about the key elements. So For me, actually, the effective communication is one of the most important elements for the equitable partnership. Because I put effective, so communication, always there is a communication tool through different forms, but which one is effective, that is very, very important with when we communicate with different partners and understanding their the condition and situation, and of course the field, as in the mention, the what is our exactly objective of the purpose of the project, if it's a project work. So sometimes communication, sometimes we don't need to talk in terms of communicating. So there are many ways actually we also need to apply that kind of communication for the equitable partnership to for the benefits of the project. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Nazim. And I see also a new question has come up from Marlene Becker on, do we include teaching on environmental health litigation as a powerful legal tool? I see the previous session is still on mind with a lot of people. I believe actually litigation might be one of our blind spots. We are all very biomedically focused. And so a lot of the educational development we've been working on has been on the development of very biomedical health impact type assessment. But this is a nice opportunity to open it up to the team. How are your experiences or expectations, or do you have any regarding the role of environmental litigation as a tool? Of Mohammed or Diantha, since you haven't had a chance to comment yet.
I don't have any experience regarding litigation, but I would like what I would like to share with the audience is, even just to focus on the health aspect of planetary health is already quite a heated discussion, because we want to, like, how do we standardize the level of competencies for planetary health for different level of students. If we want to aim for undergraduate teaching, so this is the level of competencies, for example. But if we want to move on to the postgraduate teaching, what will be the level? So of course, perhaps eventually we will have to reach that area as well, and also involving our colleagues from the law school. But at least from my perspective, in our health science clusters, basically what we want to achieve first is having a standardized an agreement of what would be the basic planetary health education that is applicable for everyone in the undergraduate level, at least. So maybe that doesn't answer your question, but discussion.
No, that's good. And I see there's also some great suggestions from Marlene in the chat regarding especially tobacco, the agenda, chemical industries. So there's absolutely places for us to go. Mohammed, did you have something you wanted to? Can I point to you to add something perhaps?
Thank you. This is a very tricky and good question, I think. Actually, environmental health education, not only the environmental perspective things, also is included the environmental ethics, land ethics is also included in this content of the environmental health education. So ultimately, this will aware the people about not only his right but the right of the component of our environment. So this is very important thing, because we usually think ourselves in our capitalized society. We always think ourselves, not the environment. So our environmental education will aware the right of our environmental component, and this ultimately will keep our environment in a good condition, and also the other component of our environment. So I think this will not be directly to the legal tool, but this will make overall awareness of our community. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'd muted myself. Thanks very much for that, Mohammed. I'm gonna leave the chat open for the moment and just pass the floor over to Ale, who I think wants to add something about the role of equitable partnerships in this process.
Yeah, thanks, George. Thanks, everyone. I haven't been able to introduce myself. My name is Camila Ale Llamas. I'm a medical doctor from the Philippines and now working at UMC Utrecht. So together with the team in the Global Health and Planetary Health team. So I'm one of the project managers for the CATA-Earth project. So I think we're talking about equitable partnerships, but I think a lot of people also have different definitions of what equitable partnerships mean. So maybe I can just try to track back on what we have been talking about for the past year before this project has been approved, and that we actually try to value and define ourselves what equitable partnerships mean, and we try to stem that from like usually we attach the word equity to health, and then we're talking about like when everyone can attain their full potential for health and well-being. There should be absence of unfair and avoidable remediable differences between groups of people, and that's also what we try to attach to the definition of equitable partnership. So we meant this in a way that we have mutual participation, mutual trust and respect, benefits, and of course fairness above all. So we try to create spaces for new and of course old ideas as well that hasn't been voiced out for a long time, or suppressed. So we value voices, different languages, interests, and knowledge systems from all the key stakeholders in this project, and most importantly, from us coming from the global north, we do acknowledge that there are existing power imbalances, because we see that that's also what like part of the problems that are currently manifested in different north-south partnerships. So there's prevalence of unilateral collaboration, not usually like open dialogues or respected, usually coming from one direction, and at least this is what we have talked about previously, especially with previous experiences with different projects, and that's really what we wanted to tackle, because this also gives you the capacity to make sure that your outcomes are also sustainable in the long run, because we in CATA-Earth, we try to deliberately ingrain in our project meaningful and equitable partnerships by mutual learning, trust, and taking action to establish an equal playing field for everyone, especially with balances in power and resources. And we hope that by doing these, how do you say, elements of equitable partnerships, we would be able to be successful in this project and beyond, and especially with giving voices to our communities that we included in this project. That's all I wanted to say about that. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Ale. I see we have 5 minutes left in our scheduled time for this morning. Are there any extra questions that people have from the chat that they would like for us to discuss? Otherwise,
is there Inda, are you able to answer? I'm not sure whether we answered Mohammed's question.
Oh yeah,
about
we talked around that a little. But what I'll do then is I'll go around the group for final comments, and then we'll wrap up for the morning. Thank you all. So just going around my screen in order. Mohammed, any final comments or takeaway messages for our audience?
Actually, planetary health issue is now a very rising issue in our society, in our community, and our CATA project. We want to raise the voice from the community level, and here is the community engagement is very much crucial, and because we always think about the top-down approach, But here our focus on the bottom-up approach, and in that case, we will know the community problem, and we will try to solve the problem in their own way, not impose any top-down strategy. That is, in our community, they usually facing these problems, and they have some local led adaptation strategy to overcome that problem. And for example, in our coastal region, people usually cultivate their crops in on the top of the water hyacinth that flood that acts as a cropping land. So in during the flood time, when the water level increase, their land also go up. So this is the local led adaptation with the flood, with the severe flood. So I think whenever we'll find out and sort out this kind of problem, and then we find a solving strategy of the local people, then we can cascade down such kind of strategy to the other areas. Those are people are facing the same problem. So I think this CATA-Earth project will find a very good solution of our community, and hopefully our students and colleagues, teachers, we also will be able to learn from our community from this project and curriculum activities, and we can cascade down such kind of strategy to other community, other community of the world as well. And I think this will be the good things for our sustainable art in future. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mohammed. Danta, any final words for our audience?
Yeah, I guess climate change and mitigate that is all of our common purpose. But I guess every institution and every country has a different starting point. So I think in terms of equitable partnership, best to have different goals, different short-term, long-term objectives. But at the end, we will achieve the same common goals. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Danta. Nazim, takeaway message.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, equitable partnership also we will think about the community and university community partnership, and that's really important for this project. And another important point is the many projects they're actually focusing on text work on many online based resources, but this project actually we truly involving the communities, and we are getting the issues and we are getting the solutions. So that means they are actually part of our project. That's actually we can prove the equitable partnership among communities and also different universities. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. And any final comments you'd like to share from your side?
Thank you. So in the context of the planetary health, then an equitable partnership that should refer to collaborative effort among the diverse stakeholders, such as the government, NGO, community, as well as the private sectors as well, and that prioritize fairness and also inclusivity. And then partnership also need to address the global health and environmental challenges, that also ensuring all voices are heard and also resources are shared equitably. And this also need to have a sustainable solution that benefit for both people and the planet. I think that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And Alay, final word is yours.
Yes, I know we don't have a lot of time, but again, for CATA-Earth, I think we really recognize the complexity of the planetary health crisis, and there is really a call for a paradigm shift in our ways of thinking. So we have been working in silos, but now it's time to have creative spaces and value different types of knowledge and give the space for that kind of knowledge to flourish. And so, yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we thank you all for taking the time to watch and engage with our session, and we hope to hear from you, talk to you, be in contact with you again soon. Thank you all very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.